Hello everyone. I'm so glad to be here at Gitex Africa 2025 in Marrakesh. I'm your host today, Badr Boussabat, and I'm so pleased to welcome Mr. Ali Baghdadi. Hello Ali.
Hello, hello.
How
Good to
are you
be.
doing?
I am very well, thank you very much. Beautiful place to be here.
Exactly. Marrakesh is booming. Gitex Africa is crazy. And we are so pleased to have you today.
It's beautiful to be here, really.
First of all, would you introduce yourself to our audience? But I guess everybody knows you already.
I don't know about everybody knows me, but my name is Ali Baghdadi. I'm a computer scientist, originally from Egypt. I lived most of my life all over the world. I build technology, I build companies, and I make films.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And let's go straight to the topic. What are the most interesting top AI and IT innovations in the past 3 years in Africa?
Well, I'm supposed to be knowledgeable about AI. I'm an expert. I have patents in AI as well. And so I was really amazed researching what has been used in the way of AI in Africa. Now I'm going to actually look at this because I actually identified 10 different advanced AI technologies that have been developed in Africa over the last 3 years, right? So I'll give you just some examples. Like there's something called COSA AI. This was developed in Kenya. It's an ethical AI governance platform, amazing technology. The other one I really looked at as well is called InstaDeep. And InstaDeep was developed in, it's a joint venture between Tunisia and Nigeria, and it applies AI to railway scheduling, for example, right? Others like Vula Mobile in South Africa that suggest treatment protocols. There are lots and lots. So really amazing that AI has been developed so quickly across all countries in Africa, which is something great to see. And the expertise is developing very, very rapidly today.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, there is a strong dynamic going on, raging on in Africa, meaning that there is a significant impact on the African economy. What's your point about this point?
Okay, well, if you look at the African economy, the 54 countries in Africa have a combined GDP of about $3 trillion. Now, that actually places Africa, if you treat it as a single entity, as number 5 or number 6 in the G10. Like it's the 4th or 5th biggest economy in the world today. And they have a long way to go because they can do so much more. Like even without doing so much more, it's expected to grow at about 4 to 5% per annum. When you look at countries like the United States, it's only growing at, or its GDP is only growing at 1.8%. Europe is growing at only 1.3%. The only comparable economy that's showing growth is China, which is also growing at 4 to 5%. So I believe Africa can even grow faster if they invest in some of the new things, using AI, using new technology, which is really affordable and can be done today.
And by the way, how African businesses or Africa in general can contribute to the global digital transformation?
Well, if we look, Africa has countries that have always been innovative historically as well. Look at where we are. We're in Morocco, where Ibn Battuta, the famous traveler and explorer, has come out of here, and he trained us and showed the world many things. And so if we look at what are the areas that can enhance and accelerate even the development in Africa, I won't be specific on countries, but let's say the use of AI and digital transformation and the investment in IT can really transform and accelerate many of the things that are needed to grow economies of African countries. And of course today with the use of Gen AI, you can obtain agents who are specialized to assist and accelerate the knowledge of people. If I'm a doctor and I need an assistant to be doing something for me, I can bring that into my business or my social environment. If I am an engineer, I can bring also an engineering agent that has the expertise that complements mine, and so forth. So we can accelerate the development like that, just using AI and IT. there are other areas where Africa investments or investments into Africa can make transformative changes. I can give you one example. For example, the world is now going, ecologically speaking, to reduce carbon emission and the fourth. And of course, battery-operated cars, for example, is the big next thing in automation. And even boats are doing that, and there are experiments. So who produces, do you think, the biggest amount of the components like lithium that builds the batteries? 70% of the world's production of lithium is from Africa. But why is China the only supplier of 70% of the world's battery technology? Because it takes it from Africa and it processes it in China. So why not process it right here? The technology is doable. So Africa can be a leading in battery production, for example. Right? Same for agriculture. Look at the vast areas, the fertile lands in Africa, bigger than anywhere in the world. Again, processing of agriculture, cocoa, chocolate, coffee. It's the biggest producer in the world for all these entities, and you can do that. You can process again, produce the actual product as opposed to just sell the raw material. And of course, also Africa is positioned in an area where we have the wind, we have the sun, so we can produce energy cheaply. Actually, this is starting to happen now. Even here, right here in Morocco, one of the biggest solar and wind farms in all of Africa. And this will be exported to Europe through underground or underwater cables, for example. So again, Africa has the opportunities to do tremendous things. And with the new advances in technology and AI and agentic AI, this can support and accelerate where Africa is going to go next. I think it's a great opportunity with the right mentality, with the right support. And this is why we're seeing countries like bringing Gitex over here, right? Because it's Gitex Africa. It's not Gitex one country. Right?
That's pretty much true. What an impressive feedback. Thank you so much for this insightful analysis. Because definitely in Africa we have so many potentials. We just need to empower the people, the companies, and better coordinate some strategies. But we have everything we need to make our countries in Africa successful.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I would like to go back to your career because your journey is fascinating. I've been told that you are a well-known inventor. Could you tell us more about that?
Okay, so you see, I'm a very curious person, and right from the outset, I've always been trying to study and understand things that are also outside of what the normal career at school or outside the career at university. I studied electronics, but at that time, there was something called computers. So I started to learn that outside of university as well. And I was spotted by this company called IBM that took me and gave me more internships and every year. And then I think my first invention started when I was doing my PhD at Imperial College in London. And even then, in those days, I was developing things with a programming language that is now recognized as the first AI language. But I moved on, and while I was a student, I thought, again, there are things that are products here that can help the world that I can't see anywhere. So I started designing products, and I started my first company as a student. Mm-hmm. So it was called Appropriate Technology. It was meant to help the world do better things. And that company is today 45 years old.
Wow.
And it's a multi-billion-dollar company, and it's part of a multinational, which is right here. So it's a part of Ingram Micro. It was called Appropriate Technology, Aptech, still called Aptech in some countries, and now it's Ingram Micro. So, but I also have other companies, and I still invent. So I just have 4 patents last year in AI, in new technology. Yeah.
Wow, that's really, really impressive, and thank you for inspiring our audience, because definitely sometimes we distinguish the inventor from the company builder, and here you represent both. So if you should choose one of these two roles, what would that be?
I don't know what the two roads are, but I don't believe in retirement, for example. As long as you can think and you can be creative. I'm talking about, you say the inventor. Actually, one of the films I made is called The Inventor. It's an animation about Leonardo da Vinci. I admire this guy. And the last film I made, which just came out 2 months ago, is called Renner, and it's about how AI can go bad, right? So I think you combine your interests with other creative things to portray a message. You know, I like to see students develop and learn from what we've learned. That is really my passion. So I still supervise students at Imperial College, and everybody here also is my student. So it's not just leading a company, but also empowering people and giving them some advice to go forward.
Sharing is caring, of course. Yeah, and definitely, what could you say about Ingram's position in the market?
So Ingram Micro is a listed company. We operate in 66 countries, and we serve 90% of the world population. We are one of the largest global distributors in the world. We are listed on the New York Stock Exchange. What is unique is wherever we are in the local, let's say right here in Morocco, we are not being a global player. We are really serving locally. We're very local. We understand the culture. We understand the needs of the country. Wherever we go, we serve the customers with solutions that are suitable for the customer. That is the difference. We add value to what we do, to all the partners that we work with, and ensure that we produce the right solutions that will help the customer.
Thank you so much. Before closing this wonderful podcast, this wonderful conversation, do you have any recommendation you want to share with our audience about the future of Africa or the future of AI?
Be careful when you use AI, because AI today, although it's developing very quickly, well, everybody's using ChatGPT, students, workers, marketeers, everybody. But AI is what we're dealing with is what we call a large language model that can learn anything from anyone. So sometimes it would give you false information. So don't rely 100%. Don't forget to learn really, and just use AI today to assist you until it's well trained. And there are many new technologies which are making sure that AI is going to be more useful and more accurate. But just be careful when you use AI. That's why I made this movie.
That's interesting. Thank you so much for joining us for this podcast. It was Mr. Ali Baghdadi, inventor and entrepreneur. Thank you for joining us. I'm Badr Boussabat, your host for the day.